the time has come for the Phillies team overview and my final predictions. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Phillies Sensitive Media, and today we're going to have our 2022 Philadelphia Phillies team overview here as I also go over my final predictions for the 2022 regular season. Guys, before we get into this video, please subscribe if you have not yet. Please hit the notification bell. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video, and let's get into this. This video is also brought to you by All Things Phillies. All Things Phillies provides a daily video of highlights from the game, so please go subscribe to his channel, link in the description section. So today, we have all been longing for. Opening day is tomorrow, right? Friday, April 8th is opening day against the Oakland Athletics as they come to town, as they limp to Philadelphia after they pretty much were gutted in the offseason when the ownership and the front office traded away pieces like Matt Chapman, guys like Matt Olson, right? I mean, they just, they kind of just cleaned house there. They lost their manager, Bob Melvin, to the San Diego Padres, and that's just a bad Athletics team, and they're going through another phase right now. But as goes for the Phils, this is going to be an exciting season, right? I mean, it seems like we've heard that a lot over the past few years, but I really, truly believe that this team is significantly better than in 2021. I think we all can agree on that. This is a better ball club with more, with a legit outfield. Add two big bats in Kyle Schwarber and Nick Castellanos, so that pretty much solidifies your offense. Hopefully, Rhys Hoskins to stay healthy. We'll get into that a little bit, and the bullpen definitely looks better. It's nice to see another name in there. Sir Anthony Dominguez, missed it, seeing him over the past few years. I understand he's been a little bit inconsistent over the course of his, pretty much a short career, but he is finally back. So as you go take a look at the starting rotation, Aaron Nola, of course, this is how it's going to be through the first 5 games, as Aaron Nola will get the first start tomorrow, making his 5th consecutive opening day start, which is just very hard to believe. I mean, that's a lot of opening day starts in a row right there, and this is a guy that's been in the Phillies organization since 2014. The first round pick, making his MLB debut in 2015. So he's a lot to prove this year. We have not really seen a level of production that has been great, since 2018, right? I mean, we saw a little bit in 2020, saw spurts of it in 2019, the second half. But it's just been a very disappointing, follow-up to his 2018 campaign. We all know he can return to that, right? That curveball can be devastating, filthy, right? The fastball actually didn't look bad in spring training. Let's not forget that his fastball, which isn't really a pitch that he's known for, actually didn't look bad in spring training. Aaron Nola, he needs to bounce back this season. We all seen it, right? I mean, there's been even games last year. There's just been a course of games where he's looked absolutely dominant. The vintage Nola we all know. And hopefully, of course, you're always going to have a bad night, but hopefully he could just get back to what he was, right? I mean, he has some great things going on in his personal life. Got engaged in the offseason, so maybe that's going to give him some peace of mind. Anything to try to get him back to where he was. But the sky's the limit for this guy. It really is. I mean, so hopefully he can, bounce back. And Kyle Gibson making the start in Game 2 of this series. I'm a little bit, iffy on Kyle Gibson, right? This is a guy that is supposed to be a ground ball pitcher. He's, supposed to be a ground ball pitcher, heavily relies on the sinker, but I've not been too impressed with Kyle Gibson. He's been very inconsistent over the course of his career. First couple starts when he came here last year, he was great, but I think the biggest thing for him is to just focus on generating ground balls. It seems like when he's trying to, of course, you just go out there and pitch, but there's certain pitches you can throw to have a certain outcome, and I think he really needs to, focus on the sinker, right? Focus on the sinker. I understand the, defense all around the tee, especially in the infield, not very good, right? Not very good, especially over at shortstop. It's better than it was last year. Bryson Stott over at third base is a very good defender, but just focus on generating ground balls. That's pretty much all I'll say about Kyle Gibson, but I'm not too big a fan of him, right? This is his last year of his contract, and, let's see how he does. Not been too impressed with him for sure. And Zach Eflin making the start on the series finale against the Athletics on Sunday. I am just so excited for him. Of course, we have not seen him in a regular season game since like pretty much the second half of 2021 season, right after the All-Star break. I think it'd be 1 or 2 starts after the All-Star break. And it's nice to see him back finally. It's nice to see him back. He looked great in the spring. And this is a guy that doesn't have a great amount of, stuff. I mean, his stuff isn't great, but he just knows how to work with it. Another guy, of course, he heavily relies on the sinker. Just focus on trying to generate some ground balls. But the nice thing about Zach Eflin is he also can rank out the strikeouts for you as well. The slider can look good at times. Doesn't really rely too much on his fastball, but I'm looking at the sinker and the slider for Zach Eflin, which could be absolutely devastating for him, right? He could just be absolutely devastating for Zach Eflin. As I said, his stuff isn't the most fan. And just goes to show you, he pitches with a lot of confidence. I mean, he's a guy that goes out there and, definitely works hard. He just makes it work. He just makes it work. And Ranger Suarez getting to start on Monday, April 11th against the New York Mets. I'll be at that game. He slotted at number 4 in this rotation. Of course, as I said, I mean, Zach, Wheeler's health was different. I think you'd see this rotation in a different order. Just due to some circumstances, this is how it's going to be. But Ranger Suarez, a breakout year last year, the only lefty in this rotation. This is a guy that, topped in the, mid-90s with his fastball. We saw it in the spring, and, I'm definitely looking for this guy to build off what he did last year. I don't think he'll have, an ERA as low as he did. I think he's probably going to have an ERA, maybe, around 250 or so, something like that. I mean, that's what I really hope for. I do think he'll settle back down to earth, but this is a guy, ladies and gentlemen, that just made so much progress last year, and he's another guy that goes out there and he's very, mild-tempered. He doesn't really show a lot of emotion. I mean, he just goes out there and gets the job done. That's what I love about him. I mean, he's very, very calm. And another guy that just plays the game with a lot of confidence, right? He's very, very subtle about it. And Zach Wheeler, making his debut on April 12th against the New York Mets, and Cy Young finals last year, finishing in second place for the NL Cy Young voting. This is a guy that can just really just throw a lot of view with that fastball. 99 plus, with past EJ, and we saw him do that a lot last year. Sometimes he can sneak the curveball in there. It can kind of fool you. So don't just think that he just has the fastball just to work with. Of course, I mean, that curveball can be kind of sneaky at times. He's done a good job at that, with using that and executing it well when he should. I mean, he was really fatigued at the end of last year. You saw it. That's why Joe was having him go, less innings, just because he was so fatigued. He's a workhorse. Zach Wheeler is a workhorse. He still has a lot of miles left on that arm. Of course, after missing, some time with the, with the New York Mets when they had TJ and, other minor things. As we go take a look at this bullpen, I mean, the biggest problem with the past couple of years for the Phillies has obviously has to be the bullpen. I mean, it's just been so bad, and especially in 2020, and the Phillies, led all of Major League Baseball in blown saves in 2021, and they were very, very close to breaking that record. They were very, very close to breaking that record by the Colorado Rockies set in 2004, the most blown saves ever in a season. Luckily, they did not do that, but they were awfully, awfully close to doing it. As we go take a look at the bullpen here, as we got Bailey Falter. Got a decent rookie campaign last year. He got a heavy reliance on his fastball. He also mixed the slider in there as well. He doesn't use to change up a whole lot. This is a guy that definitely can have some longevity out there in that bullpen. I mean, that's one good thing I like about Bailey Falter. I mean, he's a guy that, can definitely, provide you some longevity if you need an opener one day or something like that. Have a guy like, Eflin, for example, leaving the game due to injury in the third inning. This is a guy you can throw out there for 3 to 4 innings. So it's kind of nice to have that, kind of your middle reliever right here, which is kind of nice. We got Jose Alvarado, which is a guy that has great stuff, electric stuff, really could just, really hit you with that fastball. He's had a lot of trouble locating. He's had a lot of trouble pinpointing it where he wants to. He's too emotional. He needs to work on that. He just needs to focus. He's jumbling around out there too much. He needs to focus. He needs to stay calm. He's very emotional, but he has great stuff. I've always said that about him. I'm not that big of a fan of Jose Alvarado, but I've always said that he has great stuff. I've always given him that. And Brad had a new acquisition, 1 year, $6 million. This is a guy you look to, to see bounce back. And we all know he also has got the stuff, right? Definitely with that fastball, it could definitely be electric. And we've seen it. We've seen it all over his career. He's one of the best closers, for a couple years, especially in his time at the Indians, the Padres. He was at the top of his game, and he had a really bad year last year, but they look for him to bounce back, and honestly, I do think he will bounce back. I'm a huge fan of the Brad Hand signing, and Damon Jones, another lefty coming out of this bullpen that relies on his fastball. So kind of a younger guy that the Phillies are just taking a chance on through a third of an inning last year, and Chris Sanchez also seeing some time out of this bullpen, and this is the kind of guy that's going to trade a lot of ground balls, right? The sinker, the changeup, and this is the kind of guy, like Kyle Gibson, like Zach Uffen, a guy that's going to generate a lot of ground balls for you. So this is kind of breaking the norm that you usually see in this bullpen, right? That's very power happy with the fastball. And Connor Brogdon, whose velocity definitely dropped in spring training. He definitely finished off strong over the past 2 to 3 games though of spring training. He definitely looked better. He definitely looked a lot better. But this is a guy that actually had a pretty decent rookie season last year. But he saw a lot of times where he just was so inconsistent. But all in all, I think he had a good year last year. I'll say it was a good year. He definitely provided some spark out of the Phillies bullpen. And Sir Anthony Dominguez, we did see him in game 162 of 2021. Before that was May of 2019. So it's been quite some time. And this is a guy that's really, really going to have a huge impact in this bullpen. Another guy that he just needs to locate. Another guy that can kind of fuster around out there too much. He needs to stay focused. I tell you what, that fastball it's one of the best things I've ever seen. It's unbelievable. Jerry's Familia, 1 year, $6 million. Just focus on trying to execute the sinker and command it well. And there's some days where his sinker looks terrible. It looks like a fastball. It just gets hit around. He needs to try to focus on keeping that on the ground, right? He just needs to, another guy, focus on generating ground balls. Focus on that. Sometimes that sinker can be devastating, especially in his rookie years of 15 and 16. It's unbelievable, filthy. But I don't think we'll see that. But hopefully he can have a bounce back year because he's had a lot of problems over the past couple of years. Previously with the New York Mets and a short stint with the Oakland Athletics. And Corey Knebel going to be our closer. If you want my opinion, late inning guys are going to be, Brad Hand, Jerry's Familia. I think you're going to see Jose Alvarado in there. And then you have Corey Knebel, who had an outstanding season last year with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Another guy, his fastball looks lively. And honestly, he has one of the prettiest curveballs I think I've ever seen. This guy's got the stuff. He's going to be good. We've paid $10 million for this guy just for 1 year to pretty much, usually pitch only, like 1 inning on average, like every 3 days. So it's crazy. Hopefully this guy is worth what we paid for. So going to be our closer. I feel so much more comfortable with Corey Knebel than I do a guy like Hector Neris, who did leave us in free agency. So I'm so excited about the Corey Knebel signing. And Nick Nelson, another guy that did make the team as well. Another guy that relies on his fastball. He's got the changeup in there as well. He used the slider occasionally. Guys like Chris Sanchez, Damon Jones, Nick Nelson, these are younger guys that you don't really put too much attention on. Of course, they're coming out of the bullpen. But guys, I'm really, really going to have my eye on guys like Bailey Falter, Connor Brogdon, of course, Jerry's Familia in the back end and Hand and Knebel. But this is a different bullpen than last year. This is definitely a different bullpen than last year. Bailey Falter, Connor Brogdon, Jose Alvarado, just a few names in there that were still there last year. Most of them were gone. That's usually what happens as we go take a look at the starting lineup. I understand there's going to be some controversy here, but I see Kyle Schwarber being your leadoff guy. This is the kind of guy that's going to generate a lot of walks. He's going to see a lot of pitches. He is just going to be a walk machine. He's not going to hit for the highest average. He's going to hit you about 33 plus home runs. In our ballpark, I predicted him to hit 37. That may be a little too much. But this is the kind of guy that's going to hit the ball out of the ballpark. And I don't really see him driving a lot of runs just because he's going to be hitting out of the spot. That's your DH. He's not a good left fielder. So I'd see him as the DH. And Rhys Hoskins, I have him in the 2-hole simply because he has another great ability of seeing the baseball. And I understand this is the kind of guy that can hit 34 plus home runs a year for you. But he's very, very streaky. And this is one of those things where you might not have a set 2-hole hitter. I don't really see a set 2-hole hitter. I think it's just going to be how the wind blows. If Rhys is hot and he's hitting the ball at a ballpark, I think you kind of move him down a little bit that way. There's more runners on base. But if he's kind of cold and he's in that stretch where he's just walking, I think you put him in the 2-hole. So I think it kind of just, changes by the day. But Rhys Hoskins, I think he's got to be your two-hole hitter just because of the simple fact that, he gets on base. Led the National League in walks in 2019. Bryce Arpa, the reigning NL MVP, hitting third. And what else did I say about this guy? He hits 8 bombs in spring training. He's going off. He's hitting everything. He's just going crazy. So I see him in the 3-hole, of course. I mean, he's cemented in that lineup in the 3-hole. Hopefully he can hit 40 home runs this year. He would have did it last year. Let's not forget that he missed 3 weeks last year. After getting hit in the face and these other couple minor issues, and it was just so annoying. That was kind of a rough time for Harp, and then he really recovered. Then he got the MVP trophy after being snubbed out of the All-Star game. He really just gave a message there by turning around and then winning the MVP. How do you like that? And it's hard to win back-to-back MVPs. I mean, of course I want him to do it, but it's really, really hard. There's other guys that want to kind of, get better than you are. There's always guys getting better. Guys like Soto, guys like Tatis. I mean, they're always getting better. So it's very, very challenging. And Nick Castellanos in the 4-hole. This is the kind of guy that's just going to, another guy, I mean, a great lineup here, especially at the top. I mean, this is going to be unstoppable. I mean, you have so much protection on Harper, which is huge. And Nick Castellanos, the guy that's going to go off at our park. You saw what he did at Great American Ballpark last year. 34 home runs, 100 RBI. Hopefully he could hit around 37. 110 plus. We're just going to see a lot of strikeouts. He's a guy that's going to strike out a lot, but he's going to hit a lot of home runs for you, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to see a lot of power on this team. And JT Realmuto looking to bounce back. Out of the 5-hole. I think that's where you're probably going to see him, looking to bounce back. I mean, hopefully he can kind of get back to that, that time, 2018, 2019, kind of return to that form, around, mid-270s. Remember, he hit 25 home runs in 2019, so if he could hit around 20-plus home runs, definitely had a down year last year compared to his standards. Wasn't a bad year, but he just looks to kind of get better, right? Of course, he started off, kind of rough with the broken thumb. He looked great in spring training, so hopefully he can carry it into the regular season. Didi Gregorius batting 6th. A lot of ifs here. I mean, this is a guy that really suffered a lot of injuries last year. He needs to stay healthy, and if he does stay healthy, it's going to be dangerous. And what he did in 2020 was a sign of that. So if he could just stay healthy, man, I love to see this guy, hit 25-plus home runs. He's capable of doing that in our ballpark. Let's not forget that. You saw what he did with the short porch, Yankee Stadium. So this is a guy that's capable of doing that. So final year of his contract, I mean, the defense definitely lousy for sure. But he's looked a little bit better in spring training working with Bobby Dickerson. And Gene Segura batting in the 7-hole definitely did not look very good in spring training. This is the kind of guy that's not really going to go on base for you a whole lot, but he's going to put the ball in play a lot. Just going to show you Gene Segura batting 7th in this lineup. It just going to show you how deep and lethal this lineup really is. So he's fast. Provides, decent defense. Definitely a much better second baseman. I like him a heck of a lot better at second base. I mean, hopefully he can hit 300. I mean, he has not done that yet since joining the Philadelphia Phillies. Bryson Stott hitting 8th, getting the start at 3rd. That's where I see him being. This is going to show how deep this lineup is. As I was talking about with Gene, very deep. So I see Stott, hitting 8th, at 30, he's going to provide, upgrade defensively, no question about that. And the number 9 spot was supposed to go to Mickey Moniak, but the news broke while I was recording this video that he fractured his right hand, which is a huge, huge, huge bummer. I am so devastated to hear this news. Just as he was starting to figure it out, this had to happen. It's just, baseball is a rough sport. So I see Matt Vierling, who else, getting the start in center. So Matt Vierling, hitting out of the right-hand side of the batter's box, started off spring training strong, but kind of fell off. I don't really have a ton of confidence in him. This is the thing. Center field still not really where I wanted to be. When I went into this offseason, I was really hoping that we come out with a legit, we really truly feel it. We have true confidence in center field. We still don't really feel it just yet, and that's very, very disappointing. Matt Vierling getting the start, very streaky hitter. That's what it is with him. And Alec Bohm sitting on the bench. I do not understand why he's not been in AAA and getting more ABs, not playing every day, not getting his confidence back up to where it should be. Instead, we have him, probably going to see him sometime every couple days. How in the world is that going to get his confidence up? Another example of us mistreating one of our young players. I don't understand this. Dave Dombrowski does a really lousy job at treating, younger players like this. I mean, he did it with Spencer Howard. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it. I don't like this at all. I don't like this at all. I think he's got to be in AAA. I don't understand why he's here. Just to play every couple of days. I mean, this guy's our number 1 pick out of 18. You treat him like this? I just don't understand it. Garrett Stubbs is a backup catcher. Pretty much no different than Andrew Knapp. I don't really see any upgrade here at all. In fact, I think it's probably a downgrade. I mean, this is just like, I don't get this at all. I mean, might as well just kept Andrew Knapp. I mean, I'm not a fan of Garrett Stubbs, to say the least. And, you had Andrew Knapp, a guy that had a good relationship with guys like Zach Eflin. I was no fan of Andrew Knapp as a player, but now you bring a whole other face in here as the backup catcher. I mean, why not have Ronnie Marchand as the backup catcher? I understand he's now placed on the 60 IL with the hamstring, but I don't know. I'm not a fan of what Garrett Stubbs has done in his career. And Juan Camargo, the utility man, coming over from the reigning World Series champion Atlanta Braves, definitely looked decent in spring training. He's looked decent over his career. He's a very, very good defender. So that's a good thing about Juan Camargo. Unfortunately, the Phillies have to fill another roster spot, so that's going to be it for that. But my final prediction. Here we go. I did do a post. With Phillies updates, giving my final predictions, but I see us finishing with an 86-76 record. I predicted this exact same record in 2021. This is different, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very different, situation. We were more than capable of finishing 86-76 last year. More than capable of it. We were so close to doing only 4 wins away from, getting to 86-76. But it definitely was a heartbreaker last year, to say the least. But this year, the reason why I don't really see them finishing the upper 80s, the reason why I see around 86 is because I really don't. I like the bullpen, I don't love it. I really wasn't a big fan of it at first, but I've grown to kind of like it, but I haven't grown to love it. I have to see how it goes. There's still a lot of ifs. Center field is still an if. That feeling, he hasn't been great. That's kind of an if out there. The defense definitely a concern. Not as much of a concern with Album now being on the bench. But Didi Gregorius, I've seen him look good in spring training. But now, who knows he's going to do that in the regular season. I see us finishing in second place. Behind the Atlanta Braves. I see the Mets finishing in third. They're already having injury problems. I don't like to see anybody get hurt, but Scherzer, DeGrom, you can make any excuses you want. Who cares? They're a joke. The Mets are a joke. They are the biggest joke. They started Marte, who's getting older. I just don't really like that. They overpaid like crazy. Steve Cohen. Has he won? Has he won? How did he do last year, guys? The Nationals finishing in the basement. I see that. That's a very young team who's got a long way ahead of them to develop. I see the Marlins finishing in fourth. So that's what I see happening here in 2022. This is a lethal lineup here for the Phils. The bullpen, decent. I really like our starting rotation a lot. I really would do. It's just health is the biggest thing. Health is the biggest thing. Sam Coonrad, out. Not ready for opening day, out of the bullpen. So health has a lot to do with this team. We already see it. Mickey Moniak, out with the fractured right hand, which is a heartbreaker. So guys, that's pretty much it. I'll see you all tomorrow for the opening day pregame video as we head into the regular season. So guys, thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe if you have not yet. Please turn on the notification bell. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video, check out the social media. The link in the description section at Phillies Stove Media, Instagram, Instagram. Follow me on Twitter at Stove Media. Call or text 267-225-3292. Email me, philliessensitive@gmail.com. So guys, thanks for watching. I'm Luke and I'll talk to you later. Let's go Phils. I'll see you guys.